C2Wrestling podcast, CTD and Snowden. We are back. I am seated right in the hotel cuck chair, ready for a nice, fun podcast that you should be subscribed for. And you should have notifications on. And you should follow us on social medias. And you should want to know how Snowden's doing today.
I am doing a-okay. It is another day in the life of Snowden here. Just want to get to this podcast. I want to talk wrestling. It is a big week in wrestling. It's a big month. It's a big road to WrestleMania. It is the season to talk wrestling. This is always on my mind. 24/7 wrestling, especially this time of year. It's very hard to escape it off the back of a great Monday Night Raw. A lot of implications towards this card. So this is really like all that was on my mind today was like, I want to talk wrestling. I want to get there. I went out, ran some errands, bought some chicken, bought too much chicken. Don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I'm still just thinking wrestling. So that's what I want to get into tonight.
Dude, you said it's all I fucking think about, but it's even worse though. Like, I had a busy day at work,
Mhm.
miserable. And the whole time I'm thinking about 2K. I'm
Yeah.
thinking about the road to Mania. I'm thinking about potential matchups and whatnot. Then I'm like, fuck, I gotta fucking pay attention to what I'm doing. Like I can't. And then I'll get busy and I'll start grinding and then my mind will start to drift. And I'll be like, damn, man. Oba Brock, Cody Orton, Punk Roman. This is a fucking stacks mania. It really does feel like mania. Last year, we said it a good amount where we were like, I don't know, it just doesn't really feel like mania. And we kind of chalked it up really to the year before. Mania 40 was so great and like the buildup was huge. We went to it. Like it was just this insurmountable odds for the next Mania to compare to. So when we were like, it just doesn't feel like Mania, it doesn't feel like Mania, we were just chalking it up to the last Mania, really the last few Manias, but more specifically, the last Mania being so big for us. I'm getting that feeling again. Not the Mania 40 feeling. That is like an will not, will never be replicated. Greatest weekend of my life, greatest buildup
Yep.
of my life, all of that. But this feels like, oh, I'm like a kid again and I'm excited. And there was two matches that I was excited for. We get the turn with Orton, and it's like I'm really excited for that match now. But on top of it all, you get the Brock moment with Oba, and now it's like, man, there's three matches that I am like hanging on every punch. And that's just the beginning. And there's some other stuff that I'm interested in that I have high hopes for that I'm still going to enjoy.
Mhm.
It really feels, I see a lot of criticism, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend like a good amount of it isn't deserved because it is. We've fucking criticized plenty. If it's shit, we'll say it's shit. Right now, man, I'm fucking hyped. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm always excited. I'm always hyped going into Mania. Even last year where we kind of knew again this Mania 41 it's really not going to live up to the prior years. Mania 40 is once in a lifetime type WrestleMania. That was the pinnacle. We did the whole experience, like maybe it's also hitting a little bit more for us because we did the full weekend rather than only watching the show at home. Like that helps us, I'm sure. On top of the event as a whole, 39 is an all-time, 38 is an all-time. So you got three, we've said this so many times, three of the greatest WrestleManias in a row consecutively 37, 36 and 37. There's a fall off because COVID too. So like 38 hits real hard because it's like the first Mania back. 39 plays off that, 40 plays off that. Man, now you're telling me 41 has to outdo three in a row, and that third one is the greatest WrestleMania ever. Like, tough odds. It's enough of a letdown that like the bar is reset a little bit for 42 though. Still a lot of ways it can get fucked up. Injuries aside, because that's nobody's fault. You can't fault WWE if Braun Breaker can't go. It happens. So injuries aside, there still is a lot of paths. There's a lot of things they can do right, a lot of things they could do wrong. But even if you were just to compare like this year's three big matches to last year's three big matches, like last year, the match that stands out, even before the match happened, is the triple threat Roman Punk and obviously Seth Rollins. This year, you got Seth Rollins out of the mix one-on-one match. And then now we got Oba Brock, you got Orton Cody. Last year, when you look at Cody, he got Cena. Like on paper, like I understand that was big, but it never really clicked for me. Like the Cena heel turn moment was obviously hot, but even those weeks in between the Chamber and Mania, there was a fall off of the Cena heel turn. So that match never really did it for me, and the match was a stinker. These three matches we have out of just the men already kind of wipe those. We're already set up for a better Mania. That triple threat is hard to top. I'm not going to lie. Can Roman and Punk do it alone? I don't know. But the bar is pretty high for Mania 42 at this point. I do hope the mid card and everything under shapes out to also be fun, electric, memorable. I want matches and moments that I can call back to. But regardless, I already got three matches. I know there's going to be 14. So 3 out of 14, maybe on paper, doesn't sound like a whole lot. But there's going to be a good three matches where I'm locked in. I'm not taking my eyes off the screen. I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, and there's still stuff where if it does get announced, like I have the hopes that it gets announced at Mania or Mania weekend. Like perfect example, Game 7, Ilya Carmelo. It's
Mhm.
happening Mania weekend. Whether it's at Mania or on SmackDown, it might be the perfect match for the debate of would you rather it get 10 minutes on Mania or 25 minutes on SmackDown? Like it might be that match that gets that debate. I'm still excited for that match. Like to me, I'm not going to say, obviously, if it's on Mania, it's obviously bigger. But we watch everything, and
Mhm.
Mania weekend as a whole, I'm excited for. So if that's happening the night before Mania, to me, it's like, oh my God, we're getting a Mania match tonight. Like I'm
Yeah.
invested in this. Like this story, this matchup outweighs a fair amount of last year. Like there is still a
Yeah.
good amount. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to act like there was some stuff last year that I wasn't like deeply into. I was very much into the main event, Roman, Rollins, and Punk, very invested in that. And we ended on a very strong high night one. Night two just didn't deliver at all. And it really kind of killed anything positive from night one that it really soured the entire weekend that I'm just not able to like look back at it fondly. I don't think I've rewatched anything from last year's Mania besides that triple threat. Maybe at some point I rewatched the women's triple threat. I know I've seen clips of it, but outside of those, like, all right, I've seen the clip of Dom winning or like the
Mhm.
clip of something else, but I haven't really rewatched any matches. This Mania, I'd be shocked if I don't want to rewatch Cena Orton or um,
Cody
Punk
Orton.
Roman. Like, sorry, yeah, Cody Roman. I'm all over the fucking place right now. Jesus Christ. Holy
Yeah.
shit. Yeah, we've got, Oba taking on LA Knight. We've got
Yeah.
Andrade back. Like, this how you know it's been a long fucking day.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's still plenty to go. But I'd be shocked if any of those big matches I don't want to rewatch. Hell, last year the TLC, the tag team TLC, that got a rewatch. Like that is Mania a week. It's a little stretched out, but those are going to be the type of matches that I'm going to end up going back and rewatching. Ilya Carmelo, I'd be shocked if I'm not going back and rewatching that.
So I do hope though too that they kind of learn from their mistakes where that TLC should have been on WrestleMania. You should have absolutely replaced a different match for that match. So I'm hoping this year their thoughts are a little different. And I still want the Raw and SmackDown before and after to be solid, but I would rather that match be on the Mania card this year. You started it off by kind of asking that rhetorical question of would you rather Ilya Carmelo get 10 minutes on Mania or 25 minutes on SmackDown? Like, obviously, a 25-minute banger is going to happen on SmackDown, but them boys been holding it down for a while. They deserve the 10 minutes on Mania. Typically, I'd maybe pick the latter there and go with the 25-minute match. But honestly, I think I'd be better off with the 10-minute banger at WrestleMania. Give them their moment. Whoever wins is pretty established. If Carmelo retains, Ilya kind of upgrades. He's already had the title. I think there is a way to do that this year with not just that match, but many. The call back to the triple threat again last year. The men's triple threat. That's the only match I've rewatched out of WrestleMania 41. As you said, I've seen clips of other things, Dom winning the title, some playbacks here and there, but the only match I've truly sat and rewatched was that triple threat. I would be baffled. Again, who knows what's going to happen? They've thrown us for loops before. I was really hopeful that Brock Lesnar versus Dean Ambrose was going to be a very fun match. I have never rewatched it. So I guess I can't say for certain that Brock Oba is going to be a spectacle, but I would be baffled if that isn't a match I go back and rewatch. And that goes for, as you said, Cody Orton. I mean, that there is enough, legacy in that feud alone that's going to play into this match that makes it just probably rewatchable for the story. With the things that have gone on the other title scene, again, like you got Roman and Punk. We talked a little bit on the Raw review of it. It's good. It's still Roman Punk, but like the little digs and stuff just aren't kind of clicking for us. They could be going about the feud a different way. The things they're doing with Orton right now, though, that's really like the feud going into Mania. Orton and Cody are upgrading where I don't want to say Roman and Punk are falling, but they're stagnant a little bit. They're kind of holding in the same spot. I am here for anything Randy Orton right now.
I've seen it on Twitter, like people already being like, "Why is this night one main event and not, you know, not night two, Saturday, Sunday, whatever the fuck they call it?"
Mhm.
Let's still be real.
Yeah.
Let's still call a spade a spade. None of these people were raving for Cody Rhodes as champion main eventing Sunday. None of them.
None of
Okay? Not a fucking single soul was out there saying that. Now, things do change quickly, but I know just a few bad segments kind of sours things. I shouldn't even say bad segments. Just two segments that didn't hit. Like they weren't bad, they just didn't hit. Roman Punk is still fucking mega.
them.
Like mega. And the way I look at it, it's kind of the same as last year in the fact of the whole argument of night one versus night two. Oh, if it's night one, it doesn't count. That's what they would say. It's if it's night one, it doesn't count. And then some people said, "Oh, well, once Punk did it, then it counts." Blah blah. Well, Stone Cold did night one, and that pretty much became the argument. Well, if Stone Cold main event's night one, is that not the main event?
Yeah.
Of course it is. I don't know what the hell the noises are in this hotel room right now.
I don't really hear
Eh,
nothing.
I I sound like the fucking Ghostbusters are breaking into my hotel right now. Um, that is a mega night one main event.
Yeah.
To me, it could be Cody Randy night one. It could be Punk Roman night one. They're two fucking mega matches. To me, this is two pay-per-views. I'm getting two unreal nights. Like we are at the point now where one is not clearly above the other. Last year, all right, Punk, you could make the argument, but it was seen as last Mania and
Yeah.
seen as heel. Like that's gonna be night two's main event. Year before that, Cody and Roman are main eventing Sunday. They're you don't even know what they're doing at first for night one. They end up doing the tag match. Obviously, Cody Roman story wise, like that's gonna main event. 39 again, Cody Roman. That's gonna main event night two. I don't even. Oh, it was the tag titles main event in night one.
Yep.
No argument there. Story wise, makes sense. 38, Stone Cold again. You get his return. You don't even know if it's actually going to be a match. This is the first time we have legit ending Mania. You could argue either side should main event. That I think we shouldn't waste our energy arguing. That we should just be grateful that we finally have two unbelievable matchups that could be, if WrestleMania was one night, both of them, how do you pick which one goes on last? Like that would be impossible.
Mhm. Yeah, if it was one night, it would be incredibly difficult. With all that said, I still would be pretty baffled if Roman and Punk are night one. Roman and Punk, I'm pretty locked in is going to be the night two main event. Even with Cody and Orton, that feud kind of upgrading Cody's QB1. Don't get me wrong. Roman's involved. Roman is the big needle mover. Roman being involved. CM Punk, his counterpart. It's not like Roman's going up against anybody. It's no shade on Cody and Orton, but I think that's the night too. Even if on paper you think the Orton Cody feud's better, that's the true main event. I get it. It's not the night two main event, I don't think. Doesn't really matter. It's all one show. It's two nights, it's two different pay-per-views, but it's all one show in a way. Stone Cold main evented, that's a main event. It's all until somebody's personal favorite is in that main. If the main event of night one ended up being Becky versus whoever, Jade, this, that, and that's somebody's favorite, then it becomes that's a real main event. So it's all nonsense to me. I don't think it really matters all that much. Typically, in this, short couple year lifespan of two night PLEs, there is usually a match that stands out as like the go home main event. And that's kind of what night two is. I think the ending of Roman Punk is a little bit more of like a setup into what's to come for the future than maybe Cody Orton. I don't know. I mean, it's very interesting. They could really night two if they went Cody Orton and you got Orton punk Cody's head off three times or whatever. Like it'd be a crazy way to end WrestleMania, not just night one. But I thought of this just the beginning of what you were saying, and I wanted to come back to it. 14 matches again. Obviously, those are our two main events of either night, right? We don't know the ins and outs of every other match. We can predict what some of them are, right? But you got seven on night one, seven on night two. Where do you place Brock Oba in either event?
Well, what makes it even more interesting is what we've talked about. I believe you even mentioned at the start of this podcast, the first hours being on ESPN2 and
Yeah,
ESPN. Because my mind immediately goes to you start night two with Brock
Brock
Oba.
Oba. Yeah.
It's the first thing on ESPN. Lesnar comes out first. Everyone's immediately going to know who this is. Like they are going to be locked in. And then you get Oba's entrance. And those people who are watching who don't really know, they're going to get that captivated like, holy shit, who is this guy? The fans are behind him. Like they're like, he's got this crazy entrance, this amazing look. Oh man, like Brock's scared of this guy. Like Brock's getting the work from this guy. That feels like it should be there. The only other spot I could see it, and this is kind of UFC esque, I could see it being the last match for the first hour on ESPN.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it gets kind of billed as when the show starts, they're selling it as,
The main event.
yeah, the main event here on
Yeah.
ESPN, it's going to be blah, blah, blah. But the show doesn't end there, yada, yada. We have the big main event of the entire evening. That's the only other thing that I could see where they're trying to get people to stay on ESPN and they're promoting Brock and they're promoting him. At the same time, he genuinely might be the first match after it being on ESPN because they'll say, hey, you know this guy? Fucking pay for this subscription and you can see him in 20 minutes. Like,
Yeah.
that wouldn't shock me either.
Yeah, they use the first hour of night one to really promote it too, and the night two. I mean, I guess it really could take place anywhere in the show. I'm not going to be that disappointed on Brock Oba taking place at any point, but it does seem like a match that, just like you started Monday Night Raw off hot, you might want to use it to start Mania off hot. Something about though WrestleMania, especially nowadays where it's pretty much always outdoors and things like that. I like the night side of Mania a little bit more. It feels more like WrestleMania, and that's one of those matches that I just like. I
And
like in the
Mania starts
dark. I
even
like
earlier, but
it starts even earlier. Yeah,
it's in a dome, to be fair.
true. Duh, yeah, obviously. Uh, it just feels like that match to me could I don't usually there's a buffer in between like big match, especially on like the Summer Slams, the WrestleManias of the world. These 4 or 5 match PLEs, there's not maybe as many buffers anymore, but I don't really expect Brock and Oba to be sixth behind Cody Orton or whatever Roman Punk. Usually they'll throw a match in between those two, but man, it really is like a co-main event for whatever night you want to put it on. If you're ever going to actually promote co-main events for a night, whatever night you put Brock Oba on, you could just let that ride until the end of the show. But there might be some. I don't expect it to be a long match though, so it doesn't hurt the fact that Cody Orton may follow that. But if that was a 20-minute banger, there'd be a little bit of a downer in the crowd. But probably a 10-minute match for Oba Brock, if we're being honest. Maybe there's not that much time, so there's not as much of a buffer in between that and the main event. I don't think the match order, again, we still don't know, whatever, 10 plus matches, but I don't think the match order this year really matters all that much to me. Last year, I wanted Gunther Jay to start the show. Like that made sense to me. This year, unless they pull some crazy shit and Roman Punk isn't a main event, like whatever, I don't think the order is that big a deal.
Yes and no. Because I do agree last year I was pretty adamant, like, oh, this should open. This makes sense
Mhm.
to open this night. This makes sense to open this night. It's a good thing no Liv Morgan stands watch this. Zero of them are going to see this. I like Liv Morgan. I like Stephanie.
Yeah.
I like both of them. This is not a I dislike either of them. You can't start Mania with that matchup. Like you just
Yeah. I mean, I
like
get it.
it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I really like them. On ESPN, the first thing people see, like it just it's just missing something. You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah. Well, so see what I think it's missing, right? And this would be not to cut you off, which I just did, but this would be my opposition, like to if Brock Oba opens night two, the opening to night one, if they run this match, Sammy Trick, like Trick has got like that power to kind of
yeah.
move the show forward a little bit.
Yeah, now that you're saying it, Brock Oba cannot happen night one unless it's after ESPN. That
Yeah,
can't
it
be on
can't be
ESPN
the
two.
first thing. I
Well,
don't
it can't be
think.
on ESPN two at all. Like it to
Yeah. Oh
me,
yeah. Yeah.
that to me, it's either if it's on night one,
Uh-huh.
it's the co-main event, or it's the one right before the co-main event. You have a
The buffer
yeah, or like you
attendance
do the
announcement.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That cannot be ESPN two. That to
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
like that is a mistake. It can be ESPN, absolutely,
Agreed.
or it's got to be on the actual PLE. Which who knows? Maybe being on, maybe that's what you want is to be on the ESPN two or ESPN if you're not the main event.
Yeah.
Outside of that, though, like I'm pretty much on board with you. For the most part, I'm good with just about any of the potential matchups. It is it is also tough too because the first 20 minutes are going to be straight bullshit. The first 20 minutes it's going to be
Uh,
a fucking anthem to a video package to on camera to showing the crowd to another video package to then you finally
yeah.
get to the first match, and I'm sure the first match, say it's Rhea Jade, fucking Rhea is gonna get played out to the ring by a band or some shit like that,
Yeah.
and it's like then that fucking entrance is gonna take 5 minutes or whatever. Wouldn't shock me.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what wouldn't shock me opening night one.
What's that?
I wouldn't be shocked if Becky AJ opened night one.
I
Becky's a
I guess
pretty
I
like
wouldn't be shocked. I think
Becky's
they
the biggest women's name they have.
outside
You're
of Rhea, I was gonna say like Rhea
Beck,
Jade, I think is the only women's match that would open before that.
but actual like names, like I think Becky is the biggest name that they have. Rhea's obviously massive. I mean,
Yeah.
you're to me, it's almost like a coin flip on who's actually like mainstream. I just feel like Becky's more likely to get that spot over Rhea just for the not a knock on Jay, just for their opponents, like the actual
Yeah,
matchup
well,
itself.
yeah. I mean, that's where it becomes more like the combination of Becky, AJ. Rhea might be above Becky even, but when you add
Yeah.
AJ, who's above Jade, it's a little tough. It is interesting. I do think the here's my issue with the ESPN first hour is like, I guess we don't know this for certain, but I don't think they're gonna like cut the feed in the middle of a match. So you expect again, like you said, 20 minutes of bullshit, anthem, this, that, whatever. Maybe they do skip some bullshit. Triple H comes out and says, "Let's go," and then it's an anthem, and then it only took 5 minutes, and they get right to a match. Sure, but we're only probably gonna get two matches in each first hour. So it really is again a question of like, what do you want to showcase? Forget the names. They're gonna want to showcase men and women both nights. That's gonna be the idea. So I do think they might flip each night, like Night one opens women, match two is men. Night two opens men, match two is women. But who do you choose again? Like Liv Stephanie, I don't think is the ESPN match, like regardless, either slot, either night. Rhea Jade and then Becky AJ, no matter where you throw them, probably make the ESPN hour each night, I'd argue. Jade may not, even if they weren't to do AJ Becky, like Jade may not have the star power quite yet that AJ or Becky has, but Jade has got a presence. Like you just have to acknowledge, like Jade's look, her size, everything. You throw Jade on ESPN, that's going to get that casual audience that maybe doesn't watch to go, wow, who is that? That's going to turn some heads. Does it open the show though? I don't know. I think Rhea Jade does have potential though, honestly, to open. I just want the shows both nights to open with something that is going to help push it forward. Again, it's only a Monday Night Raw, but just like Monday Night Raw, Oba crushing Brock had us like ready to go into the next thing. The next thing was a solid match between the Grandes. It wasn't some bullshit like buffer. Those first hours, I need to be like Brock Oba, Trick Sammy, Rhea Jade. I think will be a good match. Rhea Jade could be better. Let's be honest. You know, she's good enough in the ring she could get by, but Rhea, I think, can carry her to a great match. So, like, that at least can sell the hour. Listen, even despite me not being a Becky fan, like, I don't know if Becky and AJ are going to put on, like, a clinic, if I'm being honest. That's maybe just me, but prove me wrong. I don't know.
I think we might get three matches in the first hour. I don't know. You've got seven matches total,
Yeah, I guess. Brock
and you
Oba's
got to
10
think,
minutes again, too.
yeah,
Yeah.
and also like the main event, including entrances, you're looking at 40 minutes for both. You know, you're
Yeah.
probably 20 or so minute matches, but Cody's got a fucking 10-minute entrance. Roman's got a 10-minute entrance. It's Mania, so I'm sure Punk's entrance will be a little bit longer. Or it might genuinely be the fastest entrance, his music. Actually, no, because he's going to pose 10 times. Like, you're looking at 40 plus minutes for those. Then, you know, if you have three matches, the main event, that puts you at an hour and 40 minutes with three more matches.
Yeah.
Mania is probably going to be around a 3 hour show each night, roughly.
Man, you know, a thought just comes to mind, like out of the blue, in light of thinking of all this. Like, if you really want to showcase like a spectacle thing in those first ESPN hours, Brock Lesnar, Oba Femi, like that makes a lot of sense. The other thing that comes to mind to me, if they go this route, is like a six-way IC title ladder match. You know,
I
like
was
that fits the bill of being in an ESPN hour one.
I was going to mention that in what was going to be a very underwhelming, long-winded statement to get
Yeah,
there. Most manias would start that way. I
yeah.
mean, 32 the IC title match, 31 the IC title match. I'm sure there's another one that had the a multi-man that's just not coming to me at the moment.
Mhm.
But that's like or was it 33 or no, 34? What one opened with the triple threat for the IC title? Rollins,
34.
Rollins,
Fallon
Miz,
and Miz.
Balor.
Yeah, 34.
Yeah,
33, we were there.
that's right. We were there.
Yeah.
Great opening there too.
Yeah.
But like that also fits the bill. Multi-man, mid-card championship, started
Yeah.
off hot, get the crowd going. It really does kind of fit. Like when you say it like that, to us, like Ilya Carmelo could open because we're like, oh my
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
that match will be
See,
so
like,
fucking good, blah, blah. But it's not going to be that like hook, line, and sinker. If they do a ladder match of any form, fuck, it could be the Usos versus the Vision versus LA Knight and me in a three-way tag title ladder match.
uh-huh.
That genuinely could open because I think that like that scene of Triple H probably welcomes us, whatever video package, whatever. But that like scene of seeing all the ladders, that kind of captivates people. Like, oh
Yeah.
wait, it's a ladder match. Like, I don't even have to know the people. I know the match is going to be interesting. Like,
Yeah.
you don't. It's the type of match you don't really need to know the backstory. Like, it's the
Yeah.
match itself. It's so exciting. Like Ilya Carmelo, yes, it's a great match, but a casual fan isn't going to be watching it like, oh man, Melo hasn't really been winning with the nothing but net because he hasn't really been hitting it, but he just hit it now and Ilya kicked out. Like they're not gonna fucking know that. But if they see a ladder, they're gonna be like, oh shit,
Yeah.
it's a ladder match. That's cool.
You literally like kind of stole the words out of my mouth. And in these last 5 minutes, I've pretty much convinced myself the ladder match is going to be in one of the first hours for exactly that. The first hour is for like the not diehard fan that isn't watching every week. So what matches, even if they have a dedicated year-long story, what matches require the least story to be told to tune in or understand or want to watch? And it's spectacles again, like Brock, like a new guy, Oba. He's new, but he is a specimen. You know, Brock is obviously Brock Lesnar. Like you said, you're flipping through channels and you see those ladders throughout the ring. Or even if it's for a minute, you see the Mexican destroyer off a ladder, somebody's getting thrown out. Like that is a spectacle in its own right. Does it open? I don't know if it opens though, because here's the thing. If it were to open, and again, we do probably get 15 minutes of bullshit, whatever, to start the show. But if you do the ladder match right after that, and then the ladder match ends, and you have a little bit of time before that first hour is over, what follows the ladder match that keeps that last little bit of that hour like as good? It's going to be tough to follow unless the ladder match runs 45 minutes and that ends at that first hour. That's the only match you get, and it's a one match hour. But again, I'd be surprised if we see ESPN tune out in the middle of a match like that. I guess we can't put it past them, but I don't think that's going to be the plan.
I think they'll time it pretty well. I think they'll be all
Yeah.
right. Another match that I do want to specifically talk about Brock Oba and Orton in a minute, but another match that I think actually is a very good chance to be on ESPN if this match gets made. If Ray is getting retired by Gunther, if that is a thing, which I don't know at this point. I really, during the Dragon Lee feud, I would have bet all the money in my bank account that's what was happening. Now, Gunther hasn't been on in a few weeks. I'm like, I have no idea if this is actually happening. If Gunther is actually going to retire Rey Mysterio, I could see that opening on ESPN. Like
Uh-huh.
that is Ray is a household name, a very notable person retiring on national television. Like it would be, people would know it. Like I could see there just being two matches on ESPN, it being Ray versus Gunther, Oba versus Brock. And it's really the people watching are getting to see this next wave. Like, oh, that guy fucking retired John Cena and he just retired Rey Mysterio. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh, who the fuck's this guy? He just beat the shit out of Brock Lesnar. And all of a sudden, these two names that you're really starting to push, you know, a broader audience is going to see.
Yeah, yeah, it really makes you think like, maybe this is a term that's overused in the wrestling fandom, but like the pillars of the company are like either these new up and comers or these legends, and Rey Mysterio falls in line with that. Like if he is good to go, he's a guy you could put on that first hour and people are gonna know. You're not going to put Orton in that first hour because he's in the main event. So, how many legends do you have to kind of fall back on that the people are going to understand, know, and want to tune into? And, Brock Lesnar is one of them. And then not only Rey Mysterio, but seeing Rey Mysterio potentially retire, even for those people that don't watch consistently, they haven't seen it in a year or two. They watched Great Khali squeeze the blood out of Rey Mysterio's head. That's a meme across the world. So I'm pretty sure that's something that could definitely get some people
I
to stay
tore
tuned
my
in.
knee. Yeah, what is it? What does he say? I don't
So,
even
so like that. Yeah, yeah.
They've heard it before, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
I
Uh,
could definitely see Ray squeezing in though in that first hour. Yeah.
yeah, if he is good to
Available.
go, then
Yeah.
I see him being in that spot. But I did want to dive deeper into Brock Oba,
Mhm.
which we've already done in like the pre of it, the build up. But it's kind of funny because you talk about it so much before it's actually official, and then it becomes official, and it feels like we just haven't talked about it at all. Like we've spent literally hours talking about it already, but it feels like I already like just how it went down, how we kind of envisioned it is how they did it. And it kind of sets in a bit like, all right, we're going here. We're doing it. They got to do it though. They got to have Oba win. It really does feel that point of like the excitement hasn't worn off. The excitement's still there. Like I'm still rewatching the moment and getting the enjoyment out of it. But I see that like that little crack in the excitement, like, oh, the anxiousness is coming though. Like the worry it's coming. Not like it's gonna overwhelm,
Mhm.
but it's there. And like I think of like Brock Goldberg, like where it was flipped, where we needed Brock to beat Goldberg. And we were pumped, but we had that like nervousness and that
Yeah.
like, ooh, I got a little bit of that pit in my stomach. Like I'm excited, but it's not 100% excitement. Some that I'm feeling is nerves. Some that I'm feeling is anxiousness. You wouldn't know anything about that. But that's where I'm like, I see it coming with Brock Oba. And it sounds shitty because it sounds like I fucking look at Brock like I looked at Goldberg. No, that's not the case at all. But I look at Oba so much and hold him so highly that it's like they can't fuck this up, right? Like they can't make this. They can't get to the 1 yard line and fumble the snap, right? Like they they know how to run the tush push, right? They've they three, if not four plays. Like they can run the tush push 4 times. Like it'll score, right?
So I do think this is a tush push moment, to put it lightly. And I think, or I don't think the tush push is getting banned this year. Let's put it that way. This is one of those moments where I 100% agree. Like this is again, Oba wins or bust is now the situation. It became the match. Oba Brock has to happen or bust, and now it's Oba wins or bust. But this is one where I think people are a little bit uneasy sometimes. They overthink things like the fandom. I do think there's a bit of instances where like it was never the plan. Goldberg was never going to beat Brock at 33. Like we weren't in the creative room, but like in hindsight, it's easier to look back and go, what were we thinking? Brock was winning that match all day, every day, any time of the week. And I'm gonna put my blind faith in the WWE that it's this type of situation. Like I am gonna go with the idea that they would not pull the trigger on this match unless they're pulling the trigger on Oba. So if I'm wrong and Brock beats Oba, I'll eat my words, but I'm not even gonna consider it. I am going in with the trust that WWE knows what they're doing here.
I kind of think of Mania 39 where we were really heavy, like Cody's got to win. People like to fucking rewrite history.
Mhm.
A lot of people wanted Cody to win that match.
Yeah,
A lot of people were
most
over
everybody
the
did.
Roman title
Yeah.
reign. Like,
Well, I
don't
think
get me
back
wrong.
then too, it was very big. People started to be like, man, they're gonna have him beat Hogan's record. And that was a
Yeah,
long way out back then. Yeah.
yeah, that was a very big thing, and everyone was worried about it. Like, that was a genuine worry, and we really wanted Cody to win. As soon as he lost, like, don't get me wrong, I was upset. Patty V lifted my spirits instantly, texted me. He's like, no, like, this is the long term plan. Like, this makes sense. He had to lose here. Him winning, like, it does nothing. They got to build it up for a year. And they did. And it was bigger than ever. This isn't the same. Like this doesn't have that same type of feeling. This doesn't have that like Oba isn't this guy that we need this like comeback story from. When you have someone who is literally beating former tag team champions in 2-on-1 handicap matches in under 3 minutes, like odds are if he loses this match, it's not going to be some redemption arc. He's still just going to steamroll everybody. And I just don't need like the redemption arc. And I definitely don't need like the Achilles heel angle of like, oh, Oba's great, but like this is his Achilles heel. Brock is the guy that he can't beat or whatever. Like that doesn't really do it for me either. I don't think they're going to make that mistake. I don't think they're going to have that happen. But every time you think they're going to do something, it's the classic saying, Snowden. What do we say all the time on this podcast?
Subscriber, you're a coward.
Besides that, probably the second thing we say the most
Predictability when done right can still be
is
good.
exactly. Oba
Yeah.
winning is predictable,
Yeah.
but Oba winning is still done good.
Yeah. I
Done
think
well.
it's easier to like think back to that time where they did the wrong thing, where they messed up. It's easy to go, man, they should have put Luke Harper in that Mania 33 matchup. It's less easy to look back and go, even though it was the greatest moment ever, it's harder to look back and go, man, thank God they did it. They did pull the trigger on Cody at Mania 40. Like I think even if it was split down right down the middle, and half the time WWE does the right thing, half the time they do the wrong thing, people tend to just think the worst is going to happen. I am pretty confident Oba wins. I think in the next coming weeks, they're going to really sell Oba as a beast, but they're also going to try to sell us on the fact that Brock can win and is going to win and this, that. But that almost more reinforces Oba winning this, in my opinion. Brock can recover. Brock can take a fucking loss to anybody. It's Brock Lesnar. It's okay. He's gonna snap back and be champion before he retires, and end all be all is okay. Oba losing would hurt Oba a lot, and I do think the powers that be, at the very least, if you want to say it's Triple H, sure, maybe it's some people around him, who knows? But I think the powers that are really at be understand that and know that Oba can't lose this match. I do think the match has to happen in a certain fashion too, where I'm not saying Brock can't get offense in. I do think Brock should get offense in, but this should be the first match in Brock Lesnar's career where he is, oh, he can't even believe what he's going through, what he's seeing right now. Like Brock is one of the best salesmen the company's ever had. The facial reactions he puts on, just the movement with his body, everything he does is so good, and he does get credit for it, but not enough credit. I think this is bigger than like Brock Lesnar or anything they got going on. Brock's gonna sell it. Oba's gonna prove himself to be this next up and coming big thing. I think it needs to happen in that kind of fashion where Oba, maybe it's 10 minutes long, sure, but Oba like cements himself as a beast. Takes a little bit of damage, sure, but like he's doing to Brock what Brock would be doing to Kofi Kingston or whoever it may be in that position.
Yeah, he should. I don't want to say like full blown steamroll because I don't want it to be like he catches Brock off guard.
Hmm.
You know, like when Goldberg beat Brock, what pay-per-view was that? I can't even remember. The when he first came at Survivor Series?
Was it?
I think it was Survivor Series, right?
Okay. Honestly, off
When
the top of my head, don't know.
Gold he beats him at Survivor Series, then eliminates him in the Rumble, and then Brock beats
Yeah,
him
yeah, yeah,
at
duh,
Mania.
yeah, okay, yeah, yeah, duh, 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 yeah,
When
yeah,
he beat Brock at Survivor Series, it was like he caught Brock off guard. And it was
yeah,
like, oh my God, he gets the
yeah.
spear and like Brock was, I don't want to say not taking it serious enough, but like kind of thought he'd be okay and he was. I don't want it to be that. Like I don't want it to be, Brock just got caught and a few spears and a jackhammer and it was over and then he was worried. I want this to be like, you know, Brock's hits a couple Germans and Oba, look, he's not no selling, but he's getting up pretty quick. Getting
Yeah.
up quicker than most would. Maybe Brock hits an F5 and he gets a 1 count. And it's,
Uh-huh.
oh my God, what? I only got a 1 count from the F5 that I've beaten people with just by hitting it once. Like I want it to be along those lines where Brock, his offense, it would take the super Brock of six F5s, 20 suplexes that to beat Oba, and he realizes he just doesn't have that in him. And Oba is just this new beast that he's never seen before. I do need to call back to though. We said, not to be like we were right, the doom and gloom of like that report that Brock would refuse to lose, whatever. Look, is it impossible that Brock Lesnar beats Oba Femi? No, not at all. Like, are the odds high? No. But if you said there's 0% chance, you'd be wrong. There's definitely more than 0% chance. It's Brock Lesnar. But we were sat here like, Brock's going to take care of this guy. Like,
Yeah.
Brock, and I even said, I think more so the worry if you're Brock is you're worried about what they do with him after. You're afraid that they're not going to actually put the stock into him that they should because you're seeing, what's happening with Gunther. Like Oba should win and then be immediately going for a title or, whatever. Just that whatever could be even fathomably bigger than beating Brock Lesnar in that fashion. Brock, the way he was selling on Monday, like the way he was instructing Oba, it's clear. It's very clear Brock cares about this guy. He cares about the business, obviously. We've seen when Brock doesn't give a fuck, and we've seen when Brock doesn't take someone serious. This is like his Cody level, his Roman level. Like Brock's going to do everything he can to make sure this guy's the next big thing. And it truly is going to be up to Oba to take it and run with it. Because if Oba fails somehow, if there's some ungodly way that Oba fails, it won't be to a lack of Brock Lesnar not trying for him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Brock gets the credit he deserves again in the sense of what he does for the business. I think Brock cares more than more people are willing to see or acknowledge. I think there's a presence around Brock that, he's a bit robotic. He's there for the paycheck. He shows up, he F5s a guy, and he gets right on a plane back to Canada or Minnesota or the woods or whatever the hell Brock is doing. And he does live a pretty private life, sure, but I think he cares for the business, cares for the people around him more than he'll ever really get credit for or told about. It's interesting because he almost has like a Undertaker like presence to him where it's just a mystery. A lot of Brock is like a mystery, but I think he, in the right aspects, shows how much he cares at certain points. He doesn't want to put on bad for himself. He doesn't want to make himself look bad either. And making the other person look great doesn't make you look bad. I don't know what it is, but Brock, man, when he does care, and again, as you said, there's moments when he's launching universal titles through Gorilla where you can kind of tell he doesn't care.
Yeah.
But there's moments where he does. When he's in that Rumble where Drew wins, he cares. This moment right here with Oba, he cares, and it's evident. And I'm very much looking forward to the actual match because I think this has potential to be one of Brock's best matches. He might not have the most offense in the world, but it's more than that. I think Brock can put on a spectacle here with Oba.
I really enjoyed the way they did it in that swerve. Like that, every reaction that I saw, they had pretty much everyone hook, line, and sinker. Like,
Yeah.
sure, there's a handful of people I'm sure that they weren't buying it at first. A large portion of people were like, man, they're really gonna do fucking Brock Rollins. Because if you think about it, you're logically going through the options and you're like, well, there really isn't that many options. Maybe Braun Breaker isn't good to go or whatever. And this is the backup plan. It's their two biggest names that need opponents, whatever. Like it was believable that they would do that matchup. And then we get that swerve. And I don't want to say that it's like the ultimate hope for Mania, but it does give me hope for like, say Penta, for instance. Penta, if he defends the title at WrestleMania, right now he has no stories.
Mhm.
He really doesn't. You could say the El Grande story, but this past Monday, like Penta really isn't in the El Grande story. He gave one El Grande a title match. He's feuded with both of them in the past. It's not like at that point, what are you going to say? Every opponent of Penta ever is like, it doesn't feel there's any real direction for him right now. But that Brock Oba segment was done so well and the swerve was so good that it gives hope for someone like Penta where fuck, maybe he really does get Ray Phoenix at Mania. Maybe he does chatting with all with Pierce and he needs an opponent and Pierce is trying to figure it out and Dominic Mysterio has to deal with Finn Balor so he's not getting a rematch and Penta is this defending champion and he's a credible champion and he wants to take on anybody and his brother just fucking shows up and it's Phoenix versus Penta and it's going to be this insane match that we get to enjoy. Like it gives me hope. I know I'm like reaching ungodly, but it kind of feels like they're really going to try to give us the best possible Mania. Well, last year it did not feel like that.
No, it didn't. I mean, I can see them running the route of Penta doing open challenge type thing another week or two, and one of these weeks Phoenix comes out, but he's in clothes kind of, and that's where maybe the challenge gets made. But Mania as a whole, it is shaping up. There is a lot to look forward to. The event itself, man, I do think they understand they have to make special, and they're going to try to give us the best Mania ever. We just talked a bit about the Oba Brock segment, but there was another segment from Monday Night Raw, which leads us into another conversation here. For the last little bit of this podcast, I want to talk about Randy Orton. Okay. Who's he talking to? Who's he talking about? Wrestling has more than one royal family. Cody Rhodes is not the only royal family. Randy Orton Cowboy Bob Orton. Is that who he's talking to?
I would like my immediate thought was yes.
Hmm.
And then I rewatched the promo and I'm like, I feel like that doesn't really make sense. Just the
Yeah.
way he said it, like the fact that he was like, oh, someone to remind me that wrestling has more than one royal family. Like, I guess it could be Cowboy Bob, but like your dad has to tell you that he was a wrestler. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense. It feels more of like he was talking to someone and that someone was like, hey, like you're born for this. Like he talks about being born for this. You know, you're also second generation or third generation, whatever the fuck he is. Like
Hmm.
that kind of feels like it would make more sense. So, who,
Who?
who? It feels like there's some possible names. There's some where like story wise, like Kevin Owens, for instance, I've seen some people mention. While yes, that would be cool. Yes, that would be like, oh wow, that's I guess I didn't kind of expect that. Owens is kind of at that spot where the next time we see him in a WWE story would be his return. And I don't think this is his return because he's not even cleared. So, or as far as we know. So I'm pretty much immediately crossing off Owens. Then you get some other options, and some I can buy into, some there's just no fucking way, in my opinion.
Yeah. I've been seeing it around. A lot of our favorite reporters have talked about the idea of it
Friend of the
being
show.
Shane McMahon. And this falls into a category of me of just like it is so random. It doesn't really make sense. And why? I don't know. It doesn't really add up to me. Even when you go back to Cowboy Bob, yeah, it's Randy's father. I get it. Is there like a world where that can make sense? Like, I guess because like Cody and his father and Orton's been around the block with Dusty and like there's some ties there. So like now Orton's father getting involved like does have a little bit of worth to it, I guess. How old is Cowboy Bob though? One, like
Yeah.
I can't imagine he's that young and that able to do a whole lot with this. Like maybe there is just a segment backstage one day or out in the ring where Cowboy Bob comes out and gives Orton that pep talk, whatever the fuck happens. But I don't know. That doesn't have like enough story to me. Same thing with Shane. Like that doesn't. I can't even like formulate what would happen next if it were Shane McMahon. Like doesn't add up. The Rock. I that like if The Rock is gonna get back involved to some degree, I guess it could be The Rock. Like Cody's still on top. This is still the guy you tried to get under your wing, but he turned you down and he defied the odds and he got the belt back from Cena. Who else really? Who else?
First off, on Shane, I don't get it.
I
I
don't
don't
get it.
get
I don't
because
get
it's
it.
a dig at Vince, like the McMahons. Like I don't get it, and I don't think WWE, specifically Triple H, is clamoring to do things. First of all, like we like Shane. I think it's pretty well known Shane and Triple H don't have like a great relationship.
Yeah.
I can't imagine they're trying to do any story right now where Vince is going to be mentioned multiple times. Like I cannot imagine that is the case. Not him. It's not Cowboy Bobby's got to be ancient. And
Yeah.
you expected to tie in some way, at least for a segment or two. I have a bit of a dark horse.
Okay.
And I don't maybe this is me just maybe I'm smack dab on it.
Hmm.
Maybe I'm buying too much into nonsense because there's not that many predictable people. What if we don't find out right away who he was talking to? Which I think is very possible. I don't think
I
SmackDown we're gonna know.
I do think that's possible. I have two other names in my head. I'm just gonna say I want you to get to your point, but like that, I think we might be on the same wavelength
I've
here.
got one name that I've kind of been stuck on.
Okay.
I think it might be Sammy.
That's interesting. It very well could be. Just the segments with Sami Zayn backstage. It makes sense. Sammy and Orton had some segment or something, some little pep talk, like, reminded Orton who he is type thing. Um, Possible. It
At the
seems
very
like,
least, Cody's blaming Sammy.
yes, yeah,
At
that's
the
for
very
sure. Yeah, I
least,
could see
he's
that.
getting the blame.
Um, it seems like Orton went like a bit extreme in the heel turn for it to be like a pep talk from like somebody that's under Randy Orton. It does kind of seem like Orton, whoever he was talking to has like authority or power, maybe, and maybe not like in the company or the brand either, but just like has been there, done that type thinking. I'm not saying we're getting an on TV role every week, but could it have just been Hunter? Could it have been Triple H?
It's possible.
Like that's where my mind goes. The other name I have in my mind, which is very distant in comparison to everything else, but like it is more likely to be Stephanie before it would be Shane, is where my mind goes. People are pitching Shane, it would be Stephanie before that, in my opinion. Same kind of thing of like, at least she's been there, done that. That, even to me, though, is out of left field. Sammy does make sense if you want to build a storyline post WrestleMania. From an authority level, Rock makes sense. Is Rock ever coming back though? Is like the big question mark. Like that would be a real like twist into the story too if that were the case. Triple H, there's just history there. Is the only other reason his name really comes up to me. I don't really think there's another name on the table.
The argument against Triple H, though,
Mhm.
is it would be more likely for Triple H to turn on Randy because Triple H has become such a Cody guy. Like every fucking Cody moment,
Yeah,
Triple H is there. Like the Raw after Mania,
yeah,
Triple H is bringing him out, giving him a title, showing him a monitor with everything. Like video after video talking about this is our guy, you're the quarterback, blah, blah, blah. I think it's more likely that if Cody turned heel, Triple H was the one, behind his
for
heel
sure.
turn.
Yeah, for sure. I can see it in a sense of like, again, we've talked. I don't think Cody's going heel anytime soon.
No.
But I could see it in a world where, like, maybe Triple H gave these words to Orton and, like, he didn't know Orton was going to go as hard as he did. So Triple H kind of hides the fact, it doesn't come out for a while, like you said, of who it was. And then Cody ends up finding out it was Hunter, and Hunter never told him. And then there's some beef there. But again, like, Hunter's at a different part of his career. He's not wrestling. I don't think he's getting on TV all the time. Like, that's still a stretch of things. It is a very intriguing storyline. Like the question mark I have right now is what are they doing? Like where is that going?
I don't know, but it's got me locked. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
let me put it this way. It's a much more logical and enjoying twist to the story to get you to Mania than what they're doing with Roman Punk and that twist and those finishes. Like that, to me, this is like, okay, this makes sense for the story and doesn't completely derail the match or the title or anything like that. What's going on with Punk Roman, like to me, feels like a mosh pit. And it's like, this just isn't making sense at all. I'm not crazy about it at all. Again, segments, they're not bad, but it just feels kind of like all over the place.
Well, it was
This,
never the plan.
yeah, yeah, this makes sense. Like this could be something that they don't pay off right away. This could be, fuck, it could literally just be, this is so cringe, but this like fucking would not surprise me with them. There could have been no one on the phone. And it's Orton's like gone fucking insane, and it's the voices in his head, and like it's straight up
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
how they were when he first was hearing the voices. Like it wouldn't shock me if
Uh,
it turned out there was no one on the phone, or it was like he was talking to a fucking tape recording of himself or some shit, like or
yeah.
talking like to an old video package of himself. Like that would not
Something.
shock me in the fucking slightest.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think it's gonna happen, but fucking
I,
anything
I
feels
you
like it
know,
could
I
happen.
as silly as that may sound, like I don't know, man. Maybe there is some old clip of Cody Rhodes back in Legacy days or something of him telling Orton like you
Ooh.
you know you're an Orton, something along those lines. And maybe that's the route they go is that like you made me do this, you know? I actually wouldn't hate that if that's the kind of the stance in a sense. Not a terrible idea.
Maybe it's Ted DiBiase Jr.
Well, I mean, I don't know how long calls are from jail, but you know that promo is like a minute 30, so
or,
you know,
or it's
time's
like,
going, you
or
know?
it's like call to collect. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Do you want to accept this call? Yes.
yeah, yeah. Ugh, man, maybe it was Ted. I don't know, but I would love it if it was.
Oh, I just got the hiccups. It'd be great, or if it was Ted DiBiase Sr. Yeah, it'd all play in. I do think
Or who
though.
else was in fucking in
Oh,
Legacy?
Samoan.
Yeah, fucking what the fuck was his name?
That really narrows it down by saying the Samoan. There's
Yeah,
only 47,000 of them.
Aku.
Um,
Oh, I
yeah,
just
The
seen a clip
Rock.
of it the other day. Whatever his name
Yeah,
was, could have been Deuce or
wasn't
Domino.
Domino.
Domino. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I don't
Regardless,
even remember which one was Deuce and which one was Domino.
they were both that one in the tag team.
Yeah, with the white shirt
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
black jeans.
Yep, yep.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then they had
yeah.
their the strawberry. Yeah.
Sherry.
So
On
good.
that note, that's it. Subscribe or I fucking hate you.
So follow us on social media. Subscribe to C2 Wrestling. It's Rhodes WrestleMania season. You don't want to be hated by your favorite wrestling YouTuber, C2 Wrestling. Don't be a coward. Click that button.
I got in the cuck chair for this. Come on now.